before we get started, I'm just going to pick up another little bit of cheap
What?
companion influence.
I can do lots of things. I can... let's see. I spring locks. That's useful, right?
He's certainly rough around the edges, but I think he's rather useful to have around.
Really? Great! If you ever need my help, just ask.
Anyway, that's all that.
Yes?
One less decoy. And on to the Vale. Inside the Vale Theater, it's battle music. And, yeah, Red Wizard, it's just some random Red Wizard guy. Sophia identifies him as a necromancy student. For a student, he's pretty powerful. See these gnolls here? They're probably by level 15 to 20. These are not pushover fights. They look like they should be, but they're not. And they're not hard, but they're not simple either. With enough intimidate and diplomacy, you can actually avoid this one. And blah, 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 blah. Yep. On my way in, I summoned a water elemental just to have a little bit of a decoy. Other than Sophia, who's, well, let's just say she's not a very effective decoy. The wizard himself casts a full power spell mantle. So he's still got 6 levels of spell absorption left. So I need to hit him with... I'm just using Sunburst because I'm just trying to absorb levels off of his mantle. And since he's standing alone, I'm just gonna kill him with Greater Missile Storm. And now we just have these gnolls to deal with. And the gnolls aren't super hard. These ones actually I think are a little lower level than and that the water elemental appears to have actually been able to cause some significant damage to one. Let's just see how many hit points. Evasculate is actually kind of handy for measuring the strength of an enemy because, well, it always does half. So, yeah, these ones only had 200 hit points or so. He was a little bit damaged. Oh, it actually, and Evasculate actually succeeded in stunning him as well, which it can do. I mostly use it for the damaging effect, but sometimes they do actually fail their saves. I just don't rely on it. Which is, of course, why I use mostly this one. And I can just rest after this fight is over. My elemental's almost dead. I think I hit him with that last spell, which probably, you know, wasn't very helpful. And our audience here, there were a couple people sort of hiding on the side here if you didn't see them, which I actually didn't see them. Now we're going to let them run away. And they are going to hand over a nice little stone, which is going to give it, it's a key basically. So I'll clean up and be right back. You can rest in this area. I'm just going to finish this while I wait. There's just a few enemies left here. So Sophia looks hurt, and you can try and help. And hey, I gave bonus towards being good, which I'm already lawful good, so it doesn't really matter. I don't think I mentioned this actually. There's another YouTube play LP of this game, and it's a evil playthrough. So this is going to be a good playthrough. And pretty much I'm just going to, you know, be nice to all my companions, you know, get all of everything worked out fine. I'm not going to eat everything in sight, which, you know, actually makes the game somewhat easier because most of the eating causes craving, and we'll get to those mechanics later if you don't, this doesn't make any sense. And we're talking about Sophia's voices, and more or less she just hears human voices that don't say anything particular, and, well, she's probably just crazy, but we'll get back to that as well. And there's a box here with a bunch of useless junk. I am still overburdened, even with that minus 80% bag, so I'm letting Sophia be my pack mule. I could just leave this stuff in a container here easily enough. This area ends up being kind of your home base, but we gotta clear it out first. Because, hey look, more gnolls. These ones have like 300 hit points, so let's cut them down. And they're gonna split up. Oh look, Sophia died again. Imagine that. Ah. The reason why I'm using or relying heavily on mirror image rather than something like, say, stone skin or premonition is that not only are these enemies fairly high level, they hit really hard. And so things that have a limited amount of absorption aren't necessarily going to absorb the entire attack. And as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of hit points. Admittedly, I have more than Sophia does. Most of the items back here are just garbage. That particular item, that robe there, was a robe of eyes, which gives you true seeing. Not utterly useless. I'm going to walk over here and clean up a little bit. There's a little bit more. There's some crafting benches over here, but I'm just going to clean up and be right back. Ran into some frame rate issues for a second there. I cleaned up the area after killing those two gnolls. There's a greater robe of eyes that was sitting around in one of those chests, which gives true seeing. It doesn't actually do much else, but if you already have AC bonuses and everything, that's actually not a bad item to have. The other item I found is this Greater Mask of Persuasion. There are not a lot of charisma bonus items in this game, to be honest, and I need charisma bonuses because both Spirit Shaman and Sorcerer use those for their saving throws. Admittedly, I'm focusing almost entirely on spells that have no saves, or where the saves are not very important, but all things being equal, between having a save or not, I'd at least like to give it a chance. There are a couple of the high-level Spirit Shaman spells which require saves, which I may actually care about. There's another fight on the other side of this portal, so I'm gonna summon up. I'm actually also gonna cast a Spell Mantle. And here we go. And again, having Spellcraft is the easy way to impress Sophia. And here we are on the Plane of Shadow. It looks like the theater, except, well, the furniture's different. And there's another red wizard here. There's another one further back who's even more interesting. There's also a couple of demons, or are they devils? I can never keep the Blood War straight. And so, obviously I don't have cold iron or alchemical silver spells. I just have, you know, attack spells. So we'll see what we can do with these folks. I don't know if this particular one's gonna have a spell mantle up. So let's just try with Ice Storm. Looks like she did not, which means she's dead. there's this Aaron Yees here. And... I'm actually going to let the... oh, there's a horn devil as well. I guess I will actually try and kill them. Dang it. Well, no, she's still alive. And here's our horn devil friends. I'm just gonna spam magic missile at him. A lot of elemental beats on him. He's very close to dead. Unfortunately, I took quite a bit of damage doing that. Heck. Resources exist to be consumed. So I'll just down a healing potion. Once I get some higher level spells for Spirit Shaman, I'll be able to heal myself. I'll clean up and be right back. I think the reason I'm having frame rate issues is that I'm trying to compile the movies from the previous ones at the same time as actually playing the game, which doesn't seem to be working out that well. You cannot rest in the Shadow Mulcentier at all. Well, at least not in the Shadow Vale Theater. And so there are... I may have to rely a little bit on scrolls and such to get through this next fight, which is fairly long and fairly complicated. And I think I'll leave it for the next video. We'll see you there.